Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. King it flake, yeah, yeah. In Vibe Nation, say oh yeah, yeah. Alright, I go to work. Yeah, let's go, alright.
Open up your mind, dig deeper inside, then see what you find. It's a vibe, get myself aligned, won't waste any time, this can't be defined. It's a vibe, Vibe Nation. We LIP, it's Vibe Nation, yeah. We LIP, Vibe Nation. We LIP, we Vibe Nation, yeah. We LIP, yeah. Earn your respect, make you a check. Hope you prepare for whatever is next. I gotta honor the code no matter what, so you know that I ain't breaking it yet. And I ain't breaking a sweat. I am so comfortable up in my element. I remember everything like an elephant. Can't involve myself if it ain't intelligent. I feel it shining on me. Yeah, that's the sun that's giving me power. When you enlighten, you can't be a coward.
Let me teach you how to vibe.
We let it rain. We trying to gain more of the light instead of the darkness. Put my ego in a hidden compartment. In my own section like an
Let me teach you how to vibe.
Taking my shot like a marksman. I'm painting the scene like an artist. They're looking at who with the farthest. I back it up, that's why I talk it. The vibes are with me, that's often. I rarely do this for profit. And I'm only talking to bosses. Y'all, open up your mind. Dig deeper inside. Then see what you find. It's a vibe. Get myself
Let me teach you how to vibe.
Won't waste any time. This can't be defined. It's a vibe. Vibe Nation. We LIP, it's Vibe Nation, yeah. We LIP, Vibe Nation. We LIP, we Vibe Nation, yeah. We LIP, okay. Pushing the positive, negativity, I see the opposite. I was thinking the movement was obvious, but I see that y'all really acknowledge it. I'ma put the
KT2
agenda
to go.
until it's ready.
Block
I
kick,
carry the
number
weight
one
even though
shoot
it's
plug.
heavy.
Let me teach you how to vibe.
Joel P, Wow, ATL. Everybody on Facebook, like, comment, share, tap in. YouTube, Great A, Titan South. Like, comment, share. You got picture in picture. Podcast go up every morning at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, 8 Eastern. Ravens, Joe, Nano. Everybody tapped in on the green, no ads. Picture in picture. Up to 50 emotes free. You just have to be a follower, not even a sub. Craig was good. And if you're watching on Twitch, Amazon Prime get you a sub free once a month. It costs you nothing if you don't use it on me. Use it on another content creator. You have picture in picture as well. Kick Wheel in the building. We got the theme song pumping. Don, Juan, DeMarco, man, we is in the building. Hope everybody having a blessed day. Hope everybody's able to tap into the Shop Talks in the morning. If y'all don't catch the live stream, you can double back, catch up with what's going on. Got any questions you feel like I missed, throw them in the comments. I will make a whole other video about it on the mailbag once a week, or I'll address it in the next stream. Rec, what is good? Y'all know why we here. Y'all know why we here. They said no coaches wanted to come to Nashville. Robert Saleh gets hired, brings in White Cotton, retains Bone Fossil, brings in Daboll. Now they're going to spend the whole rest of the offseason trying to tell you
Let me teach you how to
Daboll
vibe.
is trash, White Cotton is trash, Robert Saleh is trash, Cam Ward is trash, Timray DK is trash, Jeffrey Simmons is overrated. They're going to spend all the time doing it. Everybody that we probably would draft, Ruben Bain, Arvell Reese, they're going to tell you how trash they are, how nobody should pick them. Lo and behold, here we are once again, the most disrespected Tennessee Titans making some moves. Brian Daboll to Nashville, as we all suspected. If he didn't get hired in Buffalo, he'd more than likely be the OC. Went to Las Vegas. Looks like they'll be going in a different direction out there. Good for us. When this whole thing started, there was a handful of coaches that we wanted. When this whole thing started, there was a couple of OCs, Cliff Kingsbury, Mike McDaniel, Brian Daboll, in a far shot, Stefanski.
Let me teach you how to vibe.
Former head coaches, former coach of the year, coming in to run the offense. And there we have it. Robert Saleh, Mike Bergonzi is laying out the chessboard, the pieces to the puzzle. Tennessee Titans finally seem like they're making some good decisions within the franchise. Now that we have well-respected guys in the defensive side, well-respected guys on the offensive side, and a well-respected head coach, maybe, just maybe, their free agent board looks a little bit different. And especially if they bring in Al Harris to fix the secondary on defense, things could get kind of spicy out here. You feel me? So hope everybody having a blessed day. Hit that like, comment, share, tap in with me. T Ruff, Robert, Dre Day. He said everybody is trash. I seen negative comments because of the last two teams. Man, I don't know why people do that. They just misinformed. I just had a guy arguing on my comments saying that Fernando Mendoza is not a first round pick. He should go in the fourth round. He's a system quarterback and he's overrated. It's like, all right, bro. Like, you got it, man. Come on, Nostradamus. Give us the lottery ticket if you know for a fact that Fernando Mendoza is going to be trash in the NFL. Yeah, right. I was like, so we got Ty Simpson, Trinidad Chambliss, and Dante Moore went back to school. So it's just Ty Simpson and Carson Beck. Like, and even one of those two guys, if they get in the right situation, it can be effective. I'm not listening to nobody's negative comments, because if the Tennessee Titans would have got Stefanski, who everybody was crying about, he would just hire all the coaches that the Titans fired the last 2 years. So, I mean, there it is. Titans are assembling a good coaching staff. Yes, they are. Very spicy.
Let me teach you how to vibe.
D Ford was good. Stevie B, tighten up. Lil D, number one pack smoker in all of the land. What's the vibes? But I'm excited. Like, I'm looking in the comments and I'm seeing people that's not excited about the Tennessee Titans drafting Cam Ward, bringing in Robert Saleh, Brian Daboll, White Cotton, potentially Al Harris, keeping Bones Fossil. A lot of money in cap space and a lot of draft picks. You know, there's still people out there that's saying, yo, we need to bench Cam Ward and play Will Levis. You know, like, we just got to get all those guys off the bandwagon. Please find you another team to watch. If you somehow think the Tennessee Titans need to retain Will Levis, he needs to be the starter instead of trading him for extra draft capital, which in a thin market like this, he probably could go for anywhere between a 3 and a 5th rounder. I say, you know, solidly a 4th rounder would be pretty good value. And now that we got some former head coaches on the coaching staff, this should make it a little bit easier to bring in some free agents to help flip things around. Right, and Daboll did want Cam Ward in the draft, so somebody who already had a plan for what they was going to do with him. Maybe, just maybe, that was part of Robert Saleh's pitch, is that he was bringing in an OC that actually wanted to draft Cam Ward, that had a plan for him already anyways. Lack was good. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, everybody in power just need to step out and let all the Facebook comment and Twitter comment people run the show. Let the inmates run the asylum. He said all the ball coaches. He said temperature check on Mike Bergonzi. He hot right now. Only thing that Mike Bergonzi has done that has made me question any decision that he's made so far is, you know, giving Dan Moore $80 million. That's the only thing in moving JC back to right tackle. But I mean, at the end of the year, the second half of the season, they played well. Do I think Dan Moore is worth $82 million? Nah, but that's the bad team tax. And we'll see. You know, the Jarvis Brownlee trade, the Roger McCreary trade. Obviously, we got good value trading Draymond Jones. Could have been even more. The Cheeto release and then trading Jarvis and Roger. So we got to wait and see, like, some of those moves. You know, the Jarvis Brownlee pick will be the last remnant of Kevin Byard's trade. So we got to wait and see what he actually does with those situations. You know, Kevin Zeitler didn't work out, but I don't think anybody would have said preseason that was a bad move, getting Kevin Zeitler to play right guard. They say who wants it. Rick, just go check Facebook things. Like, it's literally a lot of Tennessee Titan fans that still want Will Levis, bro. Like, and I think Will Levis is gonna be like Malik Willis. When he gets with a good coach in a new situation, things are gonna be better for him. I mean, Sam Darnold is the poster child for I'm out of a bad situation with the right coach and I could succeed. So, but I just don't see keeping Will Levis on his last year of his rookie deal when you could trade him for draft capital. Just makes no sense to eat a player that you could get draft capital back when his contract is going to expire at the end of the season anyways. Similar to Tony Pollard. If somebody wants to trade for Tony Pollard right now, they should trade him. Xavier Woods, anybody that's got 1 year left on their deal, the Tennessee Titans should move. He said, I'm ready for the dunks and fights with the Jags and Giants. Honestly, the team I think that we're going to be fighting next year is the Texans. I'm more worried about the Texans than the Jaguars, honestly. Everybody taking our coaches, and if Al Harris, y'all might want to sign Deshaun Wright. Lack, did you not see my last free agent draft mock? If you look on the I got two thumbnails, one is A, one is B. On my defensive thumbnail, I had Deshaun Wright. He's a 6'4" aggressive corner. The Bears cornerback room is overloaded, and if we cannot get a Tariq Woolen, I would be more than happy to have Deshaun Wright. He said move JC in the middle and draft Miami's right. That's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. No disrespect to you, Craig, but I seen that, like, my yesterday's pod was about how stupid that is, that you're gonna a guy that's mocked out of the top 10, you're gonna draft him at 4 and then take your top 10 pick who you just moved and move him inside at guard when you already drafted a guard last year in the 5th round in Jackson Slater, and you still have Drew Moss under contract to next year. Like, you have 2 right guards on your team, and you could bring back Corey Levin to play center guard. Why on earth would you not either go in free agency later in the draft if you wanted a guard? Like, why would you take a number 7 overall pick and move him from right tackle to left tackle to right guard? Makes absolutely no sense. Especially when we need edge, cornerback, wide receiver. Like, it's way too many positions we need to fill to be drafting another right tackle, moving our starting right tackle to right guard. Especially seeing as he was hurt the first 6 weeks of the season, and after the bye week, J.C. Latham played and the offensive line played good. Yeah, Levis got to go for draft capital. Like, holding on to a player that's going to have an expiring contract would be the same thing we did with keeping Derrick Henry and not extending him to trade him. You know, we just let him walk for nothing. You know, the greatest running back in this generation in the last decade, that's had 2,000 yards at every level. That's a 10,000 yard running back, top 5 all time, and you're gonna let him walk and get nothing in return. Makes no sense. I saw a comment, somebody said Daboll would want Levis to start because he fits the offense better. Yeah, especially since Daboll was gonna draft him number 2 to the Giants last year. I mean, number 3. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, right? I'm saying Dre Day, he literally, like, I'm so tired of having an argument with people. Like, the dude did not consult the team. Him and his agent decided to go under the knife when they drafted Cam Ward. He would have been quarterback 2 this year anyway, but he opted to go under the knife because he wanted to be ready for his last year, his contract, to try to make a push to get traded like Malik Willis did to get a second home. Like, if you were this first pick in the 2nd round, and honestly, Will Levis has every bit of physical talent that everybody in that draft that he got drafted with, quarterback wise. Like, of anybody that got drafted, like size, arm strength, you know, release, like Will Levis, you can't find many people more talented than him. He just mentally, you know, didn't have it, and you can't even really blame him. Now that we've seen what Brian Callahan turned out to be, maybe Brian Callahan was a problem with Malik Willis and Will Levis and Cam Ward. Maybe not the players. Yeah, Check it out. It's on my YouTube. It's the latest mock free agent. I had Nashawn Wright come in as cornerback 1 because the Bears got Jalen Johnson and they got Tariq Stevenson. You know, they got some guys that's under contract. So Jags ain't worried about none of y'all. I mean, they really should. I mean, this was the year the Jags. I mean, the Colts was 8-1 and the quarterback had the 2 worst football injuries you could possibly have, and they fell off the side of a cliff. The Tennessee Titans fired their coach the first month of the season, and the Houston Texans, CJ Stroud, even though he played bad in the playoffs and down the stretch, was out for some time. Joe Mixon didn't play this whole season. Tank Dell didn't play the whole season. They let Diggs go, and then Nico Collins played about half of the season. If the Jaguars couldn't run away with it, now the Jaguars need to worry about which side of the ball are they going to play Travis Hunter on. Because if Trevor Lawrence likes to throw the ball to Jacoby Myers more than Brian Thomas, when you put when you bring Travis Hunter back into the mix, like who sits on the bench? And y'all got to pay ETN too, unless y'all gonna roll with Basil Tootin next year. I think Levis can get for sure get us a 5th, maybe a conditional 4th. Bears don't got no safeties. Yeah, cause y'all might let Kevin Byard leave, huh? After leading the league in interceptions. He said it's a big get getting Daboll for sure. And people thought that we couldn't get him. Jags don't stay up top for long, usually a one-hit wonder. Exactly. One and done in the playoffs. When's the last time the Jaguars made it to the conference championship? I'm gonna wait. That's why the Texans and the Jags, like nobody really worry about them. Like they never get to the conference championship if they make the playoffs. Like if they get in the playoffs, they ain't winning no games. They said, you really think we got to worry about Houston? Man, the Houston thing is their defense, bro. Like Houston's defense is young and they goons, bro. Like they're only gonna get better. And most of Houston offense did not play this season. So think about Houston's offense if Tank Dell, Joe Mixon, Nico Collins, if all of them was healthy this season. I mean, they got in the last game against the Patriots. CJ Stroud had 55 turnovers. Dalton Schultz went out. You know, like they really didn't have anything to fight with. And I like D'Amico Ryans. I think D'Amico Ryans is a good coach. And I bet they questioning Craig, should they have let Davis Mills finish the season? GM for the Jags want to play him both ways again. I mean, it's an 18-week, 17-game season. I just don't see Travis Hunter playing both ways. It doesn't make sense. Like now they got Brian Thomas, they got Washington, and they got Jacoby Myers and Travis Hunter. Like you can't put 4 receivers on the field. Then we're gonna re-sign Byard and let Brisker walk. Statman, Houston defense is what we should be with Salah. Yeah, I mean they got to make the right moves in free agency and the draft for them to even have the ability to do anything. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the one part of the Tennessee Titans right now is like just simply lacking the talent. 17 different defensive backs suited up this year. You know, you can't do much with that. Like Roger McCreary was the only cornerback on the team that had an interception this season, and he got traded. So, you know, you got DBs and nobody's getting an interception. Nobody's getting their hands on the football. Deep down, the NFL is mad that Cam Ward, Robert Saleh, Daboll, like that good people are coming. If we get some good free agents, they're really gonna lose their mind. If the Tennessee Titans get good free agents, they're really gonna lose their mind. I don't know why that is. If they don't want the Tennessee Titans to have anything good. Tyler Sage, Josh, what's good? Denard gonna eat with the Giants defense. He is. I mean, Brian Burns, maybe he'll get something out of Abdul Carter. Maybe he can turn him around. Maybe he can flip him. Yeah, DB room was shot. I mean, when you think about L'Jarius Sneed in his legal situation, cutting Cheeto to start Jarvis, paying Cheeto to go to Baltimore and start was just absolutely nuts. Then you got Jarvis and you trade him. He's got a fake boot on like week 2. Then Roger gets traded to the Rams, and then Marcus Harris, who they was playing outside, move him inside the slot. Darrell Baker is a waiver guy, steps up, plays really good. I think Darrell Baker probably played as good as any of the guys that stepped in. I think Marcus Harris is more talented than Darrell Baker. Amar Davis, who the Ravens cut to get Cheeto, wind up, always being in position but get dunked on. Samuel Womack, a waiver wire guy from the Colts, kept falling down trying to guard Jackson Smith and Jigba. He got cut that next week. Kairi Lam didn't get much time. If there was 2 guys I was gonna bring back, I would bring back Kairi Lam and I'd bring back Darrell Baker Jr. and put them as like cornerback 5 and 6 behind Marcus Harris at 3. Micah Robinson, basically a special teamer. Sanusi Kane, Eric Hallett, Kendall Brooks, Mike Brown. Bro, we just going down the line of just naming names of the most unknown. And it was so, it's great story for Kendall Brooks, but tough to have the guy that we got hired as a coach when we played the Niners. The story was, this guy was working at Pizza Hut and wound up getting into the NFL and is the starting free safety guarding George Kittle, trying to tackle him for his, first NFL snap. It's kind of tough. It's like Tennessee Titans was just Quandre Diggs walked away from the team. Xavier Woods.
Let me teach you how to
starting
vibe.
at free safety. Them mismanaging Kevin Winston Jr.'s injury to where, he came in late, got injured, and then left out again on IR. I mean, how many guys? I just named 17 different defensive backs that played for the Titans this year, and it's just like, it was literally a revolving door. And we talking about week 1 going to Denver. We talking about, and that was the 1 seed. Week 2 playing the Rams with Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. Week 3, then we going Colts with Pittman Jr., Alec Pierce, Downs. I don't know if A.D. Mitchell was still on the team at that point. And Tyler Warren, the tight end. Then going to Houston, and then L'Jarius Sneed saying he didn't know who Nico Collins was until Nico Collins dunked on him 3rd and 30, and then 2nd and 17. 3rd and 17, like he just dunked on him the whole game. I don't know, man. Just a bad situation in the defensive secondary for the Tennessee Titans this past year. Gonna be nice to see a new offense. It's gonna be nice to see actually OC call the plays instead of a quarterbacks coach. Yeah, that was one of the embarrassing moments. Having a first-time head coach call plays, getting demoted, and play calling getting taken so badly that his offensive coordinator was not deemed competent enough to call plays, and they went to the quarterbacks coach. So, like, you going to 3rd in command to call plays was just not it. We was the real-life replacements. That FedEx worker at punter. Yeah, Tennessee Titans always got some kind of crazy story, right? I bet people don't even remember there was David Martin Robinson that caught the touchdown against the Raiders. He said, "Come on, Hall." Yeah, I mean, come on, man. Come on, Hall, Sanusi Kane, and Eric Hallett. Like, we're way down the list of defensive backs. And then if you think about edges, Femi Oladejo got hurt and put on season-ending IR, broke on the fibula in the Raiders game. And then you had Jahad Ward, who was like the diamond in the rough that came in at edge to help us. Arden Key was in and out all season. And then you talk about Draymond Jones, when he went on the streak of getting a sack every week, getting traded to the Ravens. Like, we had Truman Jones and Jalen Harrell at edge to end the season. And I'll give my I tip my hat because those guys stepped in and played pretty good considering the circumstances. I think both of them had multiple sacks, and then Ali Gay went out. Bro, you just talk about like CJ Ravenel, James Lynch, like Shy Tuttle, Cam Horsley. Like we're way down on the depth chart on guys that actually was stepping in to play football for us. Like we was really down the depth chart. It's that powerful duo, all three levels of stuff. Yeah, and I wish that the Ravens would have made that kick and we would have got an extra 4th round. So potentially, if the Ravens would have made that kick, the Titans would have the number 4 pick, number 35, number 66, number 101, another 4th, and then a 5th and 2 6 and a 7th. And like, I don't think they'll be able to trade Snead or Reed. I think those are situations where they're gonna try to get. They're gonna play the long game on those because Reed is somebody that you cut in June, and Snead is a legal situation. I think the best case scenario for the Titans, because they have so much cap space, is to just let it play out. And if you can't feel it, there is a chance that, you know, guys that's on a last year like Tajay Spears and Xavier Woods, Tony Pollard, you make and play these guys and try to trade them preseason or trade them before the bye week. If there's somebody that's in a desperate situation, rather than just cutting them and getting nothing. But I do think Snead and Reed will be gone though. He said they had Denard. You happy to get Denard got the job. They had that man in Hall of Fame mode. I mean, when he said in the press conference, like, "Hey man, that's who we got, and that's what we rolling with until I find out otherwise." Like, they literally took every edge rusher and every defensive back he had starting and just like gutted the team, and the defense was still keeping him in games and still stepping up. Yeah, 3 safeties in one game was wild. But that's because they, in my opinion, this is not Denard's fault, but this is more of where the front office had them at. When you got Xavier Woods, Quandre Diggs, and Kevin Winston all playing the nickel slot corner out of position, things like that happen. Because, like, if you go back and look at the tape, it would be times where, like, you have Jackson Smith and Jigba matched up with a safety. You have, you know, Jacoby Myers or Brian Thomas matched up with a safety. You're not supposed to always have your safeties getting matched up, getting confused and getting stuck in man against the team's number 1 receiver. And things like that happen. Yeah, he was on demon mode, but I mean, like, everybody had to play out of position this season. You know, Cody Barton led the team in interceptions. You know, Cedric Gray was up there in tackles. James Williams, who I think they got to find more ways to get him involved in the defense. It's interesting. I don't think Amani had the year that he wanted to have after getting the extension, but I expect him to bounce back. I've seen a lot of times where people would dog Monty, but like when you're having to match your safety up on the team's number 1 receiver because he's one of the only people that's just not going to be confused, it's also not the best scenario to have your safety always having to try to come down in man and guard teams number 1s when on switches because guys is falling down and getting lost. If you go back and watch the tape, Womack probably fell 4 or 5 times guarding Jackson Smith and Jigba. He's just like, bro, just stay on your feet, bro. Like, one thing is getting beat or getting dunked on. Like, Amar Davis was always in position. He just never made the play. Womack was just nowhere to be seen. Like, bro was just falling down. Who do I want most at 4 and 35? Well, I got a whole breakdown on YouTube, but I think if you stick and pick at 4, it's got to be edge. It's got to be Ruben Bain. It's got to be Arvell Reese. You know, some people like David Bailey and Keldrick Falk. If Robert Saleh saw something in Keldrick Falk or David Bailey that made him take that chance, I would rather trade back. Like, I don't think any of the receivers, like Carnell Tate could be good. Jordan Tyson could be good, but Troy McMillan is like towards the back end of the top 10. Malik Neighbors was like the number 8 pick. I don't want to see the Titans reach because they need a receiver. We did that and then we got Corey Davis. You know, it's like more of a situation. Like Corey Davis was good, but he wasn't like some true bona fide star for you to pick in top 5. So my thoughts is I want to go edge at 4. At 35, I think they got to do what they did last year. Because, you know, last year Luther Burden was there and they traded back and got Femi and Kevin Winston because we didn't have a 3rd round pick because of the L'Jarius Sneed trade. So my thought is if the Titans are at 35 and they took edge first, obviously next is cornerback or wide receiver, depending on how free agency goes. And if you're sitting there and somebody wants to come up to the top of the 2nd round and give you an extra top 100 pick, you got to take it. Because you got to say that, like, let's say there's a defensive back there. You could drop back and get Chris Johnson out of San Diego State or Will Lee or somebody. Is that big of a drop off, dropping from 35 to 40 something to get an extra top 100 pick? Then when you look at if it was a receiver and let's say, I don't think he'll fall, but let's say it's KC Concepcion or Denzel Boston or somebody, and you're saying, trading back a few spots and I end up with Jacoby Lane or Zachariah Branch, like, is that much of a drop off to get another top one? The Titans only have like 33 or 34 people signed to active 53 coming into next season. They have to sign and draft like 20 something, 30 people. So it's like they got so many holes that the obvious holes would be Crenshaw Dixon comes back, Oli Udoh comes back, Corey Levin comes back. You know, those give you your swing offensive linemen. Depending on what they do with Chig Okonkwo, obviously Isaiah Likely and Kyle Pitts is Cade Otton is a few free agent tight ends that's on the board. You look at wide receiver, you know, the Titans have Restrepo on futures. They have DK and Aomana, Indian Reed, which we all expect him to be gone. You're probably going to need to sign or draft 3 or 4 receivers. Defensive backs, the only person that you have under contract is Marcus Harris at corner. Then you think about Baker Jr., Elam, Amar Davis, like those guys you want to be at depth level. That obviously is not your starters. You definitely need to sign to and draft to at defensive back. You got Xavier Woods, Kevin Winston Jr., and Amani Hooker at safety. You know, like Mike Brown, Kendall Brooks, you know, some of those guys like Jared Reed. I expect Michael Robinson at the safeties. You got to go make some plays somewhere and add some talent overall across the board. Arden Key is out. Draymond Jones is gone. Jahad Ward, maybe you bring him back for depth. Truman Jones, Femi Oladejo, and Jalen Harrell are edge rushers that's still under contract. I think Ali Gay is still like a 1 year, $1 million, $800,000, something like that. But you got to put some people in, you got to fill out the roster. You know, defensive line, you got T Sweat, you got Jeff Simmons. You want to bring back Sebastian Joseph Day, very productive player in free agency. You got Ravenel, you got James Lynch, Cam Horsley. You know, you got to start mixing in some guys and upgrading at all those positions. You can't have guys that they ceiling is special teams. You need guys that are ceiling is that could be a really good starter in the league and their floor is special teams. That's the biggest change, Joe Blacko, though. I like to trade back at 35 for sure. I mean, the Titans are in such a spot that at every pick they have to question, is this person a game changer, a franchise player for us that we want to start and really be an impact? Or do we trade back and get extra top 100 picks? Because their goal was to get a lot of top 100 picks. You know, the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th round guys is the people that make your roster. Everybody don't have a roster full of 1st round picks. You know, your roster is made up of those Gunnar Hams, Chimere DK, Alec Aomana, Marcus Harris, Jackson Slater, Kevin Winston Jr., Femi Oladejo. Like those extra round guys is the guys that make up the bulk of your draft. You know, when you start looking at Kyle Monunga, Aronde Gaston, 49ers Upton Stout, Horton, you know, like for the Seahawks, like it's people that you pick in those 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th rounds that turn into productive players for you and the undrafted free agents, the Aaron Brewers, the Nick Westbrook Akines, those guys that are undrafted that wind up making your roster and being an integral part of the team. Best landing spot for D-Hop. I don't think D-Hop comes back though. I was hard on Hooker, but considering the situation, he was kind of by himself back there helping out Ricky's trying to cover his spot too. I mean, you gotta think like Quandre Diggs like walked off the team, him and Tyler Lockett. So it's like when Xavier Woods gets hurt and he's back there with a different guy every Sunday, and like perfect example is to go to the Seahawks game when they sent Jackson Smith and Jigba in motion, and then Womack falls down and he has to switch off and point, and then now he's one-on-one and he's got from the goalpost to the sideline to guard Jackson Smith and Jigba. How on earth, if you're expecting to be like checking the sidelines or being in a deep half, that you wind up having to cover Jackson Smith and Jigba for the whole entire field? Or game on the line against the Texans, it's 3rd and 16 and Darrell Baker don't get enough depth on the cover 2 drop, and you one-on-one with Nico Collins on the sideline. Nico Collins is 6'4", you lose. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was situations like that. Of course, it was some other plays that Monty could have made, but so many times where it's like miscommunication of there's a different cornerback in front of you that has different technique that plays different. You started the season off with L'Jarius Sneed right there. You in camp, there's Cheeto right there. Then there's Roger right there. You know, then you start getting down. You like, man, I got a dude that he just got his jersey a few minutes ago, and this is the dude that's communicating with me on the back end of a defense, and I got from the goalpost to the sideline. That's a lot. He said, "What's the whole deal with Big Jeff?" What you mean? DK might come back a beast. He already is a beast. Tierra Tart got a bag. Yeah, Tierra Tart got the bag. Happy for all the Tennessee Titan former players that, you know, either getting money or having success. Ernest Jones is in the Super Bowl. Talking about revenge tour. Ernest Jones got traded from the Titans to the Seahawks, and then beat his former team, the Rams, to go to the Super Bowl. That's a real revenge story written in Hollywood. I like y'all questions tonight, man. Keep them coming. Y'all got some fire questions that y'all throwing at the boy tonight. I definitely like all the questions, man. It's what make the shop. Because I'm all about engagement. I'm all about interacting and tapping in with the community. I'm not smarter than my audience, nor do I try to be. But I do like hearing different people's opinions on what they think, you know, and just really going back and forth and breaking it down. Remember that bad year Bayer had when the secondary was cooked? 2020, I believe, had to overcompensate for his bad surroundings. Yeah, because Monty was hurt around that time. That's when, like, then the crazy part is, like, you get after that, that's when Randy wanted him to take the pay cut a few years later. And then look at Bayer, you know, he goes to the Eagles and then leaves the Eagles, goes to the Bears, and then leads the league in interceptions. And since Kevin Bayer has left, because there was Elijah Molden right up under Bayer, Elijah Molden goes to the Chargers. The Chargers have been in the playoffs every year he's been out there, and we haven't successfully put a free safety in that spot since Kevin Bayer has left, because Molden went to the Chargers, and then you have Quandre Diggs, you have Xavier Woods. Kevin Winston Jr. was hurt. I think he'll be the future at free safety, but you know, if it takes you 2 or 3 years to fill the role, Terrell Edmonds, we cut him, and then, you know, the picks that we had from Kevin Bayer was Jarvis Brownlee and Jaquan Jackson. Jaquan Jackson is gone. Jarvis Brownlee is gone. So whatever pick we get back, this 6th round pick from Jarvis Brownlee, is the last of what we had of Kevin Bayer, all when you try to make him take a pay cut. My only problem with the Titans over the years is we fight with Kevin Bayer about a contract. We fight with Derrick Henry about a contract. We fight with AJ Brown about a contract. But then we paid Dan Moore $82 million. We give Lloyd Cushenberry almost $60 million. You know, like, I just feel like, you know, at times the Tennessee Titans pay the wrong people. We gave Tyler Lockett $4 million, and then Nick Westbrook Akine leaves, and we could have gave him $3 million. I know people would say like he made the choice on his own, but like they could have extended him early. Like I would hate that if we didn't extend Chig and we don't pursue Isaiah Likely or Kyle Pitts, that we wind up paying, you know, what we paid for Jeff Swain and Austin Hooper, which was like $10 million combined for guys that don't be as productive as Chig. I mean, Chig played every game in 4 years and was run after catch, receptions, and yards. I don't think anybody had more than him in his time here in Nashville. Even though Gunningham will be tight end 1, but now, you know, who's going to feel that production of that guaranteed 500 yards and 50 catches? That helps a quarterback as a safety valve that can break tackles and run after catch. You're not just catching in the fall. Bayer should have never left. He should have been a lifetime Titan. What's going on with the Eagles OC job? A lot of pressure. Yeah, Big Jeff should definitely get a big extension. I think Skoronski should get extended too. He said likely not leaving. Are you sure? I mean, they just gave Mark Andrews the bag. Mark Andrews is the all-time like leading catcher for the Ravens franchise. Obviously, Mark Andrews is tight end 1. If somebody's telling Isaiah Likely we're going to give you $10 to $15 million and you're a tight end 1, he's gone, brother. Like the Ravens are not spending $15 million on tight end 2.
Let me teach you how to vibe.
NWI should be here. And think, like Van Jefferson was solid $1.6 million for the production that he gave. But for Tyler Lockett, $4 million, seven catches for 70 yards, bro. We was wasting time with him. Like that should have been Nick Westbrook, you know, run blocking and possession catching. I mean, he had 9 touchdowns the season before we let him go. And then like our best 2 receivers combined was not 9 touchdowns. Like, you know, it's like sometimes you got to pay for production when you home grow these, you know, Aaron Brewer to be like playing at a Pro Bowl level, an undrafted guy that we had at center, that they just was playing him out of position wrong at guard because he was too undersized to play guard. When they put him at center, he's like a world beater because he can get up to the next level. And then to give Cushenberry almost $60 million and he missed as many games as he played, and the offense ran the ball better when Corey Levin was at center. You just have to question yourself, like, you know what I'm saying? You got undrafted guys that probably could give a next to nothing contract. You know, NWI probably could have been like a 3-year, $10 million deal with most of it guaranteed, a little bonus or some form for his hard work. And you got a solid wide receiver 4 that gonna do special teams, that's gonna run block, and is gonna catch the ball when you throw it. I mean, I think the Titans got to get back to that. You know, you spent $60 million on the center when you probably could have spent, you know, 3 years, $20 million on Aaron Brewer, and then just draft a center, you know, like the center from Indiana now. Like you could draft somebody like that and just groom them until they ready. Callahan wasn't using Jig right. He wasn't using anybody right. He had Chimere Dike blocking orbit motion screens so Tyler Lockett could catch the ball. Like, where is Tyler Lockett going to catch the ball on the screen? Like, where's he going? Like, you got your 4-3 record-breaking rookie wide receiver blocking for a 35-year-old wide receiver with a ball head. It just don't make sense. No disrespect to Lockett. Lockett's the GOAT, but like at this stage in his career, like I would rather have Nick Westbrook blocking a screen pass for DK than paying Tyler Lockett $2-3 more million than what we was paying NWI or Van Jefferson to play in that role. I mean, look at Tony Pollard's second half of his season versus first half. Like every single person, like they was not getting AO and DK the ball. They was not getting Gunningham the ball. Gunningham broke the rookie tight end record just when they started giving them the ball halfway through the season once the Callahans was out. When you put it like that, yes, if someone overpays, he's gone. But I don't even think it's overpaid. I think that, you know, Isaiah Likely will be in the top half of the tight ends in the league. As far as just talent, I think he could be like a top 10 talent, you know, if he's getting more looks. But he got to stay healthy too, though. man, Callahan couldn't do nothing right. When I seen Mike Vrabel run on the field and tell Drake made a slide and call a timeout and grab the referee, I said, man, Brian Callahan could never have his head into the game, understanding everything that's going on like that. It's snowing. This man is running, pointing to his quarterback to get down, and also using his left hand to grab the referee to tell them that he's calling timeout and to the point at the head judge and say it was 1 second. You know what I'm saying? Like, Vrabel really told him what to do. Yeah, I mean, Isaiah Likely is a dog, bro. Like, but see, Tennessee Titans got to think of it like this. I would spend the money on Kyle Pitts or Isaiah Likely, or, you know, if we should have extended him early and got a team friendly deal with you. You know, Gunnar Helm is tight end 1, but also having that secondary tight end that could dunk. You know, Titans are gonna be in 12 personnel like the Rams and like the Niners, more so than they're gonna be in 3 wide receiver sets, just because they don't have the talent right now. Now, if they go out in free agency in the draft, and, you know, you talk about following my code of saying, let's say you do get Alec Pierce or Romeo Doubs in free agency, and you do land Zachariah Branch or Brazel or Bell or somebody in, you know, one of them Indiana boys, and you got 5 good receivers, possibly 6 on your roster. Yeah, you might run trips formation a little bit more than, you know, they have in the past. But Tennessee Titans, when they start running 20 tight end sets, ran the ball better with Luke Stocker, and past the play action game was better, because you just don't have a lot of good wide receivers. You can't be in a lot of 3 receiver stacks if your third receiver is a liability and your 1 and 2 really not beating nobody's top corners. He said, so it's solid. Who do we draft first? I say Ruben Bain. I think if Ruben Bain is there for, like, assuming the Raiders is taking Mendoza and the Jets is at 2, who knows what the Jets will want to do. The Jets got 2 first-round picks, so I'm kind of worried about the Jets taking somebody that we might potentially get, and then right in front of us is the Cardinals. Cardinals is another team in a bad situation. I did a whole pod on this. You know, Cardinals got to get rid of Kyler Murray before middle of March, or they're going to have to eat another $18 million if they don't intend on him being QB1 next year. So, you know, if the Cardinals move Kyler Murray, you know, who knows what they want to do with the 3rd pick. You know, so if you're the Tennessee Titans and let's say something crazy happens and the first 3 picks is Mendoza, Arvell Reese, and Bain, Titans should trade back. I know people are going to say David Bailey, but, man, give me the extra top 100 pick, bro. Unless Bailey does what James Pierce Jr. did in last year, run a 4.40 at edge rusher or something, like, it's a lot that could happen, because I don't want to take a cornerback or a receiver early just because we need those positions. I think you got to take best player available. Then people will start saying Jeremiah Love. You know, it's a lot of people that I love to have, but it's like, what are they going to do in free agency? Now, let's say they get Nashawn Wright, they get Kayvon Thibodeau, they get Alec Pierce, they get some of these people in free agency. Just think, those 3 people I just named, Alec Pierce would be like 20 million, Nashawn Wright would be like 15, 20 million, and Kayvon Thibodeau would be like 15 million. The Tennessee Titans would still have like 60, 70 million dollars in free cap space. So, you know, if you get some big names out there in free agency, then you come into the draft with a whole different mindset of what you want to do. He said Cardinals might go O-line, but I don't see them going O-line at 3. There's not an offensive lineman in this draft that you're dying to pick at 3. But they very well might do it. Suave was good. Bold prediction. Kyler Murray should stay. They're not finding somebody better. Talent-wise, I don't think so. But if you're a new coach and you taking a job and that's been an issue, you might just want some fresh look. Because you got to think, somebody's coming in to put their career on the line and say, like, is my career finna go on the line with somebody that I don't know if he finna play Call of Duty or not? talent wise, Kyler Murray got the talent, but somebody might want something different. They might want to go in a different direction. He said Bane just to finish it. If we hit on the free agents, we going Love. I mean, if the people I just named, if we sign those and then, but the only thing about it, if you sign Jeremiah Love, you also have Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears on their contract years. Tajay Spears was a top 100 pick and Tony Pollard is due $9 million. You could cut him and eat the $2 million, but then you get no value back in him, a trade, because somebody will pick up Tony Pollard. He's ran for 1,000 yards every season. He's been in Nashville, even with a dumpster fire. And then you had Khalil Mullins, 6'2", 225, who played short yardage back down the stretch like the last 3 or 4 weeks. You really didn't get a really good look at him because he was injured in the draft process and then injured as in the preseason. So you really don't know what you got. Like, it's so many holes that, you know, like, are you in a position to take that luxury pick? But it's a lot that's got to happen. Now, remember my order: head coach, draft, free agency. Like, I always put free agency last because that was Rand's plan, was Cushenberry, who is it? Dillard, L'Jarius Sneed, trading a 3rd round pick to get him and pay him money. Cheetah Bay Awuzie, 3 years, $36 million. Like, he was just Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley's due $28 million next year. Like, Rand was throwing out some bread. I don't know if Amy is gonna let Bergonzi just go crazy in free agency like that after what Rand did. Rand tried to fix the team quick by spending a lot in free agency and it didn't work. Bailey
Let me teach you how to vibe.
Jeffrey Simmons had character concerns. That's why you got the coaches you got. I'm less concerned. Like, if we still had Callahan and his crew, I would be concerned about character. Robert Saleh and Brian Daboll, Bones Fossil, I'm less concerned. He said trade offer Levis. I think when Levis comes back and puts throws on tape, I think he'll be like a 5th round trade, conditional 4th. Suave ATL. Kyler already got 2 coaches fired. Y'all should draft Caleb Downs. He changed the defense. How? Like, that's about as bad as Daniel Jeremiah. Like, we just extended Amani Hooker as strong safety. You got Xavier Woods still signed the contract next year for $4 million, which is cheap for him. And then Kevin Winston Jr., who we traded back off of Luther Burden. We picked up Femi and Kevin Winston. Like, Kevin Winston is a dog. Like, he's going to be the starting free safety. I just don't see, like, we're going to have 4 safeties under contract and we only have 1 cornerback. Marcus Harris is the only cornerback signed to a contract. I just don't see drafting and having 4 safeties and 1 cornerback signed. And then you got DK, Aomon, and Restrepo as the only receiver signed. Like, that, like, to me, like, the Titans ain't in position to draft another safety. You know what I'm saying? Like, who's going to sit out and who's going to play? If you got 4, like, your 4 best defensive backs are all safeties. He said, look at Kyle Hamilton and Emmett Ward. Yeah, look at them. And the Seahawks have Tariq Woolen. They got Josh Jobe. They got Witherspoon. Like, nigga, they got like 6 good corners. Look at the Ravens. The Ravens had Marlon Humphrey, but the Ravens are deep at corner. Like, you name 2 teams that are deep at corner. Like, all we have is 1 rookie cornerback under roster. You putting like 6'2". We traded with them to them, but that was the trade. We traded for them to get the Emmett Ward pick. I do think it'll matter because he do want those captain type of players. Like Caleb Downs, I just like, who is gonna sit? If you got Amani Hooker, you got Caleb Downs, you got Kevin Winston Jr., and then you got Xavier Woods. Like, what are you doing with 4 safeties? And you only got 1 corner. Now, if you said like take a shot at Mansour Delane, but there's still a reach. Like, you got to take the pick for the value. If I was gonna take a value, just best overall player at 4, and it wasn't edge or it wasn't receiver, I'd take Jeremiah Love, before I take Caleb Downs, just because we don't need him. That would be like taking Peter from Clemson, the defensive tackle, the number 1 defensive tackle, and you like, well, what are you gonna do with Jeff Simmons and Tavondre Sweat? It's like you're gonna be drafting 3 defensive tackles. Like, you don't take the position you best at and then just overload. He said we have 2. Micah is listed as a safety and a special teamer though. He played like 1 game at corner. I don't know, bro. I don't even count, bro. Like, he's a practice squad guy that came off the Packers. That did, like, he couldn't get on the field in front of all those people we named. I just don't trust coming into the season saying like, I think Micah Robinson to be on practice squad. I want Harold Perkins Jr. in the 4th. Yes, we're watching the Senior Bowl. I had Harold Perkins on one of my mocks, but it's gonna be some good linebackers that's gonna fall in the rounds. He said all them free safeties I named as wash. Hey D'Angelo, when y'all figure out what y'all gonna do with that wide receiver room, holler back. We ain't taking no tips from the Jaguars, because y'all got 55 receivers and y'all don't know who y'all want to throw the ball to. Game on the line, you got Brian Thomas and Parker Washington. Y'all threw the ball to Jacoby Myers again. And y'all gonna have y'all traded y'all first round pick this year to trade Travis Hunter to play him on both sides of the ball so I can blow out his knee again. We ain't listening to nothing in Jacksonville. He said value at cornerback is in the 2nd. I think it's a lot of value at cornerback and receiver in the 2nd. So I think your first round pick, the way the defense is gonna set, just if Ruben Bain is there, don't overthink it. Just take him. Ruben Bain on one side, Femi on the other side, T Sweat and Jeff in the middle, and with those 4, you can rotate and play them inside out, except for T Sweat. Like I wouldn't make this too difficult. He said ROC and DC coming back. That don't mean nothing to me. I said you got 4 receivers who playing and who ain't. Y'all finna trade Brian Thomas? Yeah, I mean, the more I look at it, the more I felt like Arvell Reese and Ruben Bain might be off the board. Like, I got a real feeling that Mendoza gonna go 1 and Arvell Reese and Ruben Bain gonna go 2 and 3. Titans gonna be sitting there at 4, questioning whether they should take Jordan Tyson, Carnell Tate, Jeremiah Love. Like, I still think people are high on David Bailey, but I think that's kind of reaching on him at 4. Upside, Keldrick Falk could be crazy as a top guy like that. Like, dude, Keldrick Falk is like 6'6", 280. Like, he got a different type of frame. Who knows, man? Like, if Arvell Reese and Ruben Bain off the board, man, just trade back. Just trade back. Give me an extra top 100 pick. The extra top 100 pick might land Zachariah Branch or a good cornerback, you know, at the end of the 2nd or the top of the 3rd or something, man. You know, just give me more picks, man. Give me more shots in the dark. Cause I got like the Jet, like it would be more simple for the Jets. Got 2 first rounders in their first round to take Arvell Reese or Ruben Bain, and their second one to take Ty Simpson. You know what I'm saying? Like, that make more sense. Like, they killing 2 birds in 1 stone. And then the Cardinals, depending on what they got going on with Kyler Murray, like, who knows? The Cardinals did it with the Texans a few years ago and traded out of 3. The Cardinals could trade out of 3. And somebody could be coming up to get Ruben Bain or Arvell. Sad. If that happened, boy, I'm gonna just slide in my chair and pray they trade back. He said Mekhi Lemon is good enough to go at 4. He my favorite wide receiver. I don't think so. I mean, look, there's Mekhi Lemon, there's Carnell Tate, and there's Jordan Tyson. Out of the 3, who I think the most talented is Jordan Tyson, but he got injury history. You know, Mekhi Lemon, to me, is he that much better than Casey Concepcion, Zachariah Branch, you know, all the guys that fit in that type of size and role, than Carnell Tate? Taking him at 4, you know, is Carnell Tate that much better than Denzel Boston, Chris Bell, Chris Brazel, Jacoby Lane, Jeremy Bernard? You know, there's a bunch of receivers that gonna go in the second and third. So it's like, is he that much better to take him at 4? That you couldn't trade back and get 2 of the guys I just named? You know what I'm saying? Like Malachi Fields, I think is gonna be a sleeper. I think, you know, Nick Harbor, when he runs his 40 time at 6'5", when he puts a 4.2 on tape, I think some people are gonna lose their mind. He said, that ain't the question. If Brian Thomas Jr. get back to himself and you got Parker Washington, Jacoby Meyer, and Travis Hunter, you have 4 receivers. Who's getting the football and who's gonna sit out? Who's sitting on the bench? You didn't trade a first round pick next season to have Travis Hunter sit the bench. Now that you got Jacoby Meyer and Parker Washington, like, now what are you gonna do with Brian Thomas? Like, somebody got to sit. Somebody ain't getting the ball. And even with no Travis Hunter, Brian Thomas had 2 targets for 2 catches and a touchdown in y'all playoff game. I just don't understand why y'all didn't try to throw him the football. If the Cardinals are just trade for CJ Stroud, it changed the draft. Why would the Cardinals or Jets trade for CJ Stroud? I'm confused on that one. I can see one of those teams trade for Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones will probably be like the most highly sought out free agent QB. It's interesting though. I mean, this is gonna be like, this has been the craziest season. This has been the craziest off season. This has been the craziest coaching carousel. Like, and then we still have the draft and free agency. Like, things can spin even more. No Chiefs, no Ravens, a bunch of coaches getting fired. We got the Seahawks and Patriots in the Super Bowl. Bo Nix getting hurt before the AFC Championship. Like, this has been like single-handedly probably one of the wildest, most parody seasons I've ever seen. See, that's one thing. Like, I don't think it's a cornerback or a receiver good enough to take at 4. Like, Tetroy McMillan didn't go at 4, and dude is like 6'5" and can do backflips and catch the ball one-handed. You know, so like, I don't see nothing like, you know, if you're taking a running back or receiver or somebody like that in the top 5, they got to be like an anomaly. It said Shedeur making the Pro Bowl. Yeah, but see, one thing that's been unfair about Shedeur is ever since the draft, the NFL and the media has been using him to make money. And like, they did it with the jersey sales, they did it with the draft. All they talked about is Shedeur. Then the whole situation throughout the season, unfair. Then the jersey sales, and then now nobody's really watching the Pro Bowl. Then you put Shedeur in, you and try to make more money and sensationalize off of Shedeur. And it's just like, they using him, but they need to be fair to that kid. Whoever, like Jim Schwartz is supposed to be taking over the Browns. Like, I hope that the next set of people that deal with Shedeur, like, don't just try to use him for clicks. One thing you can say is this season has been entertaining, bro. You know what I'm saying? If nothing else, you could say this has been an entertaining season. Even the 2 conference championship games like came down to the last play. If this is like a last second goal line type of situation, Patriots Seahawks like it was with Malcolm Butler picking off Russell Wilson, like, I'm gonna lose my mind. This has been one entertaining season. Y'all got any more questions before we get out of Shop Talk? It's an hour and 5 minutes, a whole solid hour of nothing but Brian Daboll and Robert Saleh love. But this be funny. I go live every day for Shop Talk on 4 platforms, and I drop shorts and YouTube videos. All the trolls never show up for the live stream to rap or state their case. They wait till we out of here and then they go crazy. Get some marbles, man. Trolls, get some nuts in 26. Come stand on business. All right, y'all. Y'all know what time it is. We're going to take the reset. We'll be back to get some gameplay. I'm going to take my short reset and then we're going to start the stream back up. If you don't come to the live streams for the game, late night in the pod, just chilling, like just hanging out, that's cool. Make sure at 7 a.m. Central Standard, 8 o'clock Eastern, that y'all tap into the YouTube for the re-upload, the condensed version. Make sure y'all like, comment. If y'all think of something that y'all wanted, question y'all wanted to ask that you didn't get to ask in the live stream, drop it in the comments of the YouTube. We just had our restrictions come off January 25th, so this is like the first week we'll get to see, and then next month, the first whole month of no restrictions on the YouTube page. That's been restricted since October, which was one of the reasons I really didn't want to do a lot of live content on YouTube. I just didn't want to take the chance that, you know, the page could get shut down. So appreciate y'all being here, man. God first in the chat. We'll tap in a few minutes on Kick and Twitch late night.